Welcome, exhibitors, to this MJSA exhibitors only meeting to answer some of your questions about setup for Expo, which is just a little over a month away. Today we have Katie Onufri. Am I saying that right?
Onufri.
Katie Onufri and Stephen Dory with Freeman, and they're going to talk us through some of the most important things our exhibitors need to know for the show. So, Katie, do you just want to take it away and talk through your talking points? And did you want me to put your slides up on the screen?
Sure. If you want to put the slides up, that would be great. You can just start with the first slide for the dates today.
All right. I'm going to get that going. Excellent. All right, Katie, just let me know when you want me to switch slides.
Okay. For whatever reason, I don't see it, so I'm just going to go off of my own. So I apologize. But you guys should be seeing our MJSA 22 dates to know. Importantly, this Friday, February 18th, is the deadline for exhibitors for you guys to get your orders in for the advance rate. So that's our best and lowest rate for services such as graphics, furnishings, etc. in the exhibitor kit. The best way for you all to view and order things, submit payment, all of that, is that link to Freeman online store that's here up on the screen on the first slide as well. You can submit your payment that way, submit your orders that way. It's pretty intuitive. You can also download any of the PDF forms that are normally found in the PDF version of the manual as well. That will also have, the ancillary forms for companies like American Showcase, the Javits ordering portal as well. So you can access all of that online the same way as you would be able to view in the PDF manual. The next date I have on there is when advanced warehouse shipping starts and ends. So that has already begun. You can begin shipping your advanced materials to our warehouse, and that receiving, it just popped up for me, right? That ends March 8th. And so you'll see that there is a 10-day gap between when advanced shipping ends and when show site shipping begins. We will still accept items at our warehouse between the 8th and the 18th, but that could be subject to a link to warehouse fee. So you just want to be mindful if you're going to fall in that window between March 8th and March 18th. That could end up being a little bit more expensive for you. And we will not begin accepting shipments at show site until Friday, March 18th. If it arrives at the facility earlier than that, we won't be there to accept it. So just some dates to be cognizant of. And then, if you're not aware, exhibitor move-in begins Friday, March 18th and the 19th. So those are the important dates to know. You can go to the next slide.
Right.
Let me know if you're seeing it, because I'm slow.
Some weird, feedback and noisiness, all kinds of fun on this line. Audience, can you guys see the slide? And I see a couple of you are sending voicemails. Those are or voice messages. Those are going to be hard to respond to for us in the session. But if you could put any questions you have in the chat, that would be great.
Okay, so since people are saying that they can see the next slide, I will carry on. One of the most significant changes since the last time we had the MJSA show, and for Freeman in general, is our transition in material handling from a 100-weight model to a price per pound. So some of you, if you have already done a Freeman show recently, may be familiar with this. Some of you may not, but it is a, we hope and we think it is a model that is easier for you guys to plan and execute. The old model was based on 100 pounds, a minimum 200. So you'll find with the price per pound model, there are no minimums. There's no crated versus uncrated. There's no special handling. And it's actually based on the actual weight of your items, per pound. So if you go to the next slide, that'll show the difference between what, the form used to look like and was a little bit confusing, and what your rates are now. And these rates on the right for the per pound model are the actual rates that are in the MJSA kit, just so no one's confused. As I mentioned at the beginning, the only increase that you will find is, like I said, if you ship to the warehouse past that March 8th deadline. So between March 8th and March 18th, if you ship to the warehouse, that will incur an after deadline fee. So the difference in that is that you're going to be paying, $2.97 per pound versus the $2.37 if you were to ship it within the actual window. So it's really easy. Freeman Online also, I believe, has a calculator. If you put in your actual shipment weight, and it will calculate your fees for material handling. And like I said, there's very, very few instances where it would, there's no surprises. So it's really easy for you to plan how much you would actually be spending on material. You can go to the next slide.
That should be up.
And this is just an example of what your final invoice will look like at the end of the show, showing what it used to look like in the old 100-weight model and what it will look like now in the per pound model. And we will, any show site services such as material handling or labor, anything that needs to be calculated actually on site, we will be passing out invoices. You'll also get your invoice emailed to you during the show before the close of the show, so that you'll be able to, look at the invoice and settle any outstanding balances. Sorry, everyone, if you could just give me one moment.
Well, I was terrified that background noise was somehow coming from my end, but clearly it's coming from Katie.
Yeah, I've muted mine also because I'm at show site. It's a little bit noisy here too, so I'm muting as well.
All right, great.
So you can go to the next slide.
Okay.
Now this is a special rate. These rates are specifically for machinery rates for some of you MJSA exhibitors that have machinery. And so you'll see that this rate is a little bit different than the other per pound rate, and it's based on a range for your heavier machinery. There are some general information and kind of like rules that have to be applied for these rates to apply. We, Freeman, are going to be doing some outreach, and our exhibitor services and freight team will be aware of it as well. But if you have any questions about the machinery rates, you can certainly reach out to us. But I just wanted to highlight these in the kit, that these are different. And this is really, it only applies to your machinery. So it does not apply to booth display properties like pop-ups or anything like that. It doesn't, anything that is used to build your booth does not apply to it.
Next slide.
Yep, thank you. So aside from the change from 100 weight to the per pound model, another change since the last time the MJSA was held is that the Javits is no longer the provider of cleaning services in the hall. So as of January 1st, Freeman is the exclusive provider of cleaning services. You can order your cleaning services through Freeman online, just like any other Freeman service that we offer. And I just wanted to point out as well that if you do have an exhibitor appointed contractor, that is not something that they can provide. They cannot provide cleaning. It is exclusive to Freeman. So if you do want booth vacuuming or porter service or anything like that in your booth, it has to be ordered through Freeman. And the same thing, that deadline is this Friday, February 18th, for you to receive that discounted advance rate. Next page.
Well, I think I'm clicking, but nothing's happening. There we go.
Okay. So this is just, I just wanted to point out the email and the phone number to reach our exhibitor support team for any questions that you might have in planning for MJSA. And
Mike, is it okay if we send this information out to the attendees?
Oh, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole deck can be shared. It's fine. It's a little bit more digestible sometimes than the whole kit. You can go to the next slide too. And so on this slide, I just wanted to highlight that electrical services are something that is provided by the Javits Center. So if you would like to order electrical or lighting or anything like that, that is ordered through the Javits online ordering platform, Jake. There is a form. It's loosely a form. It's more of a directional. They are exclusively online for their ordering through the Jake portal. So that's going to be that second link there. But if you have any questions as well, the Javits Exhibitor Solutions team, that is their contact information also. So that's going to be for your lighting and electrical. And then if you go to the next slide. Another common thing, so the Javits you can hand carry in. I know some of you will be doing that. They limit that to the inner roadway and to like the 35th Street entrance on level 3 outside Javits. That is managed through the Javits. We don't manage the front of the building with a hand carry, but this is the rules from their site that I just wanted to share with you guys and give. So the biggest thing is that it has to be a personal vehicle, and you have to be an employee, a full-time employee of the company. They may ask you for ID, and it does need to be a personally owned vehicle, so nothing like a rented, like big Sprinter van or anything like that. A truck, nothing like that is allowed through the front of the building. They also will not let you use a 4-wheeled cart, so you can only use a 2-wheeled cart with plastic or rubber wheels, nothing with 4 wheels. Technically, you're limited to, I believe, like 1 or 2 trips. I think like 1 trip, Steve, if you can confirm.
Yeah, I thought it was 1 trip.
Yeah, but like I said, the Javits manages the front of the building, so they check for all of that stuff, and if you're not in compliance with the guidelines, they will basically send you around to the back door to be unloaded, and then that's when you would be subjected to material handling charges. Yeah, so those are basically the most common questions and things like that we get. If anyone has any more specific questions or concerns, we are open.
Pop them in the chat box. We've got the experts on the line. Let's not miss this opportunity. So you did a good job of covering all of it.
Thank you. Sorry if I spoke too fast for anyone.
Looks like we've got some typing. First, I never know if people are actually getting ready to type as a question or just like doing their email, but it says someone's typing, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah, someone's typing.
Someone's typing. For a minute, see what kind of questions we get. And for our attendees, we'll send out the link after the webinar. It's not turned into a question yet. Oh, here we go. If we have items we need to ship from our office, do we need to ship to warehouse first for debits?
So you don't have to ship to the warehouse. It's an either or option. So basically, there's no price difference. Like I mentioned, in the new per pound model, there's no price difference. In the past, it was a little bit more expensive to ship to the warehouse versus show site. So that was probably a lot of people's reasoning for choosing show site instead of the warehouse. Now there is no price difference to go from the warehouse to the warehouse or to show site. The benefits of shipping to the warehouse versus show site is that we will have it earlier in advance, and when you begin exhibitor move-in on Friday, March 18th, it will be in your booth waiting for you. If you choose to ship to show site instead, that just means that it won't be able to be received until March 18th. And then because there may be other people that are having their items shipped to show site, your truck will be waiting, and there may be some wait time for your truck to be unloaded and the items to go to your booth. So it just takes a little bit longer to get to your booth when you ship to show site versus shipping to the advanced warehouse. But you don't have to. It's a choice.
So you guys making that warehouse option equally affordable is your way of trying to make the logistics smoother for everybody?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. They're unloading less trucks.
Mm-hmm.
So everything gets loaded. Yeah, you consolidate everything.
Yeah, so basically when you're rolling on March 18th, your stuff is in your booth, and you just need to unpack. There's no waiting time on site.
We got more typing going on, so there might be another question. Are you guys on a show site now?
I am. I'm at the Hilton in Midtown. Just moving a show in. Yeah.
Here we go. So we are bringing some fixtures from our office, like stools. Can they brought in as carry-on so long as they collapse and we assemble them on site? Same for graphical banners, so long as they're collapsed when we bring them in.
As long as it's something that you can reasonably bring in the building, as I mentioned, with your hands or on that two-wheeled cart, then it should be allowed. If you're, if it's a really big fiber case or anything excessive, then they may stop you. But
it makes me want to spend a few days in the gym. It's just like rolling things in on carts and see what gets by.
And you have to remember they have to take the elevator down too. So it's got to be a limited amount of stuff that's going to be able to get on an elevator to get down to the hall.
Yeah, because both of the entrances, as I mentioned, one is on the third floor and one is through the concourse entrance on the second. And so since MJSA is down on the first floor, yes, as Steve mentioned, you'll also have to get into a passenger elevator. So there are things like, a 6 to 8 foot height limit, that kind of stuff. And then you'll also have to be waiting for the elevator. So I would just also anticipate it's a little bit slower.
And then this is probably a question for you, Lucy. I know you're on the line. Angela is also asking, will badges be required for exhibitor move-in? And how do the exhibitor badges work? Lucy, do you want me to unmute? Yes, badges are required. So I take it the exhibitor registration will be set up right there when they first come in.
It's in the 1D lobby.
Right out in front of the exhibit hall.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Any more questions? I don't see anyone typing.
Oh.
More typing. Just a thank you. Oh, and Lucy's reminding everyone, don't forget your vaccination cards. We do need proof of vaccination to get into the venue. And will masks be enforced? Not enforced? Do we know?
That I can't speak for Lucy, but I know we Freeman have not received updated communications from the facility yet on the mask requirement. I know the city of New York, some of it is loosening by that point, but I know there's still some places that are going to be required still, so I can't speak to that yet.
I would think they're probably going to need it, being a state building, as of now anyway, so we'll see. Just bring it just in case.
Plan on masking unless we hear otherwise.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right, just going to hang in here another minute, see if we've got more questions. Oh.
Yeah, I know some of the bans have been lifted for masks. I just don't know if that includes all of the state buildings. I mean, I know for restaurants, for example, but I'm not sure about the Javits. We'll get some updated info on that, but it changes, weekly. So by the time this show moves in, it could be different than what it is today.
Fair enough. All right, I see Lucy's typing something.
No, that's me.
So Lucy's just saying we'll keep you guys updated she will keep you guys updated as MJSA gets updates from the state. All right, more questions for Katie and Stephen. I don't know. It looks like you guys did a really good job answering all the potential concerns since.
Shoot us an email. Somebody thinks of something later on. Shoot us some emails.
Perfect. Well, I do have to say again, I think you guys did a really good job of revising the manual. It's a lot more coherent than it's been in the past. Yeah. And I spent a lot of time working on that during the exhibit downtime. So, good job and thank you. And I guess I'll let you get back to your busy days and everyone back to their busy days since I think we've exhausted all the questions.
Well, thanks for putting this together.
All right. Well, thank Lucy. This was her idea.
Yeah. Thank you, Lucy.
All right.
Take care. Take care, guys. Thanks.
A lot of fun.
Thanks, Kate.